Good afternoon, everyone. Response to the pandemic and its long-term impacts on. In a statement we issued last night, the Secretary-General voiced his concern at the escalation of violence in Ethiopia and the recent declaration of a state of emergency. The stability of Ethiopia and the wider region is at stake, he said. The Secretary-General reiterated his call for an immediate cessation of hostilities, unrestricted humanitarian access to deliver urgent life-saving assistance, and an inclusive dialogue to resolve this crisis and create the foundation for peace and stability throughout the country. And the Secretary-General notes the extremely serious findings of the Joint Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Ethiopian Human Rights Commission investigation, released today detailing that all parties to the Tigray conflict have committed violations of international human rights, humanitarian, and refugee law. The Secretary-General is deeply concerned that the recent escalation and widening of armed conflict and the declaration of the state of emergency will only aggravate the human rights situation of the people of Ethiopia. He calls once again for the fighting to stop immediately. The Secretary-General stresses that ultimately, the current crisis in Ethiopia can only be resolved around the negotiation table and by including all of Ethiopia's people and leaders. I'd like to add on that report that the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, said the gravity and seriousness of the violations and abuses documented underscore the need to hold perpetrators accountable on all sides. She also said today that she fears such horrific violations and abuses are continuing based on the consistent reports that are emerging. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, where we've been in touch throughout with both the de facto authorities in different areas and with the government of Ethiopia. Now the point is that from them we need unrestricted humanitarian access in order to deliver the aid that we have. We do not have that at present, but we are working to arrange that, and we're working, again, with the government and with the parties, including the parties in Tigray and around it.
From the government or both, like the
I think it's a general problem that the various parties are saying that the situation on the ground is too unsafe to allow for certain types of access. We want, first of all, for a certain amount of stability to be restored through a cessation of hostilities, but beyond that, we want to have the unrestricted humanitarian access that, to be honest, we have not had for many weeks now, even prior to the problems with the humanitarian air service. As you know, we had problems getting some supplies in, and we want to go back to a situation where we can get everything that's needed to the people who need it.
Thank you, Farhan. First,